Welcome, this is results-oriented preparation. I'm Kenneth, and in today's video we are looking at stoichiometry and calculating the number of moles of electrons in a compound. Now before we go into the lesson, please make sure that you subscribe, you share, and then you hit the notification button to get all a new upcoming materials. Thank you. Again, this is results-oriented preparation. We are still looking at stoichiometry, and then in our question today we are calculating the number of moles of electrons. We want to find out the number of moles of electrons in the scenario that is given. The question number 2 reads, a metal M ionizes to give M to the power of N plus ions. If the atomic mass of M is 24 and 1.2 grams of M ionizes to give 6.02 times 10 to the power of 22 electrons, calculate N, which is the charge for each ion of M. Alright, so we want to find out the number of moles in that case. Now, the first step that we should take here is first and foremost to find the number of moles of electrons given. That the number of electrons, I'll put A with negative for electrons, number of electrons divided by Avogadro number. All right. Okay. All right. So that will give us look at what has been given. What has been given is that 1.2 grams of M ionizes to give 6.02 times 10 to the power of 22 electrons. All right. So take that figure here, 6.02 times 10 to the power of 22 divided by Avogadro's number, which we all know to be 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23. All right. Now, once you have done that, your calculation, the easiest thing is just concentrate on the two, because these and that are equal. Base 10 is the same. So you've got 22, you've got 23. You know, according to the laws of exponents, that coming up there will give us a figure of 0.1. All right, 0.1 is your figure, but it is quicker to calculate with your calculator, and then you will find your 0.10, or which is just 0.1. Now, the next thing that you should do there is to find the number of moles of M ionized. Okay, number of moles of M ionized. All right. We know so far that we are only given that it is 1.2 grams of M that ionizes out of the mass of 24 grams of M. We have only 1.2 grams of M ionizing there. So we want to find the number of moles that have ionized, which means we are considering that 1.2, which is going to give us 1.2 divided by 24, all right, which is your total mass, and that will give you a ratio of 0.05, all right. So now that we have that 0.05, these are 0.05 moles, 0.05 moles of M, right? Ionize it to give how much? To give, okay, ionize is to give equals to 0.1 moles of electrons. 0.1 moles of electrons. Okay? Now we know that from the ratio we have found 0.05 moles of M ionizing to give 0.1 moles of electrons. Remember that the 0.1 that we calculated here is the moles of electrons that are found in that 1.2 gram. All right, the moles of electrons. Okay, because we knew that 1.2 grams of M ionizes to give how much? 6.02 times 10 to the power of 22 electrons. All right. So once we have found that 0.1 there, which is the number of moles of electrons that are ionized, we went ahead and find the number of moles of M, which is actually ionized, which is 0.5 moles. So which means that 0.5 moles of M gives us 0.1 moles of electrons. Okay. Now that we are there, we can then go ahead and look at 1 mole of M. What does 1 mole of M give? All right, so that we can find the total amount of amount of moles of electrons. Okay, so therefore 1 mole of M will give us 0.1 divided by 0.05. Okay. Now if you do the math there quickly with your calculator, this will give us an answer. I'll write it here. Will give us an answer of 2 moles of electrons. 2 moles of electrons. All right. I'll just repeat again. Okay. We had been given that a metal M ionizes to make M to the power of N plus ions. So we know that it's releasing ions here, okay? And therefore, it's a positive ion. Therefore, as the atomic mass for M being 24, only 1.2 grams of M ionizes to give 6.02 times 10 to the power of 22 electrons. So what we wanted to find out first in this calculation was to find the number of moles of electrons. Here we just given the number of electrons. We wanted first to find the number of moles of electrons, because that is what the question entails. That is what we want. So the number of moles of electrons there was found by number of electrons, which is 6.02 times 10 to the power of 22 in 1.2 grams of M, divided by the number of electrons in a mole, right? We know that according to Avogadro's law, the number of electrons in 1 mole will be 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23. Now if you divide the two, this ratio will give us 0.1. Next, you find the number of moles of M that ionizes. So it was 1.2 of 24, right? 1.2 grams of 24, which gives us 0.05 moles of M that ionizes to give 0.1 moles of electrons. So now 1 mole of M then will give you 2 moles of electrons. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you can get all the new and upcoming lessons that we have prepared for you. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.